This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Well, look at you, roaming chick, wandering chick, giving me some dough. Appreciate that. Thank you for your donation. Welcome to another episode of the Carty Method Podcast. It is me, Steve Carty, and we had a donation happen just before I went live, so I thought that I would give you some smoke, give you a little bit of light show as we do when people donate. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Today, photo reviews. Usually on Thursday, I look at your assignments, but today is a little bit different because of the holidays, because of New Year's Eve and all of that stuff. I decided to allow you to submit a picture from your portfolio for today, but you're going to have an assignment that I'll give you at the end of today's episode, as I always do, for next week, Thursday. Hopefully you had a chance to watch Tuesday's episode, the Photo of the Year Awards. Did you watch Tuesday's Photo of the Year Awards? Did you watch that? Was it dope? I hope you enjoyed the Photo of the Year Awards. It was definitely and is definitely my favorite show of the year. It's so dope to see all of that work just all together in one show. So excited. And also my accelerator, the absolute last deadline for submitting a finished application is Saturday at midnight. So it's Thursday. If you're interested in being in my accelerator, oh my goodness, today you have to fill out that application and get yourself in there. It's a workbook, basically. You got to do some work. It's going to take a couple of days, so I would start it today. Go to thecartymethod.com/accelerator if you're interested in getting in. And if you are filled the workbook out already, we are choosing who gets in from Saturday to like Wednesday. And then again, that phase one starts not Sunday, but the Sunday after. So that's when we start. I'm excited about it. So all my merch, like this cup, it's all sold out. You can't get it. But the hat that I'm wearing is some merch from back in the day. And I dropped the Pro collection, which is t-shirts, hoodies, caps, and it did very well. And again, wearing a cap that says Pro is bold, but I got to tell you, it starts conversations because people say, pro, what are you a pro at? And then you can be like, oh, I'm a pro photographer. And they're like, oh, and then conversation starts. So this is also a great hat to wear when you're shooting, when you're on set. And again, should I do the Pro collection as the next collection? Dropping a new merch store this weekend. So, what should we do? All right, let's get into your favorite thing, which is my real photo reviews. Let's get into the real photo reviews. And by the way, if you win Photo of the Week, you get considered for Photos of the Year at the end of the year. So that's the whole reason that you submit. Oh, and by the way, oh my God, I forgot. If you had tried to sign up for my submissions in the last little bit and got to the point where it was sold out, is because I had set a maximum because of the amount, there's only so many people who I can do that for. I've recently increased my maximum. So it's open. If you want to sign up and have your photos reviewed, go to thecartymethod.com/YouTube submissions to sign up. Marco Nueves, you were one person who gave up your opportunity and then wasn't able to sign back up. So do I teach the business of photography in detail? Absolutely. This is all I talk about here, Mitch, is the business of photography. So watch some of my playlist, watch advice from my advice playlist, advice from a 34-year pro. That's helpful. And yes, that's all I talk about is the business of photography. And if you'd like to learn more about how I can help you with the business of photography, just go to thecartymethod.com. Just go here to thecartymethod.com, where I help you master the art of making a living with your camera. So this is where you go. Go here. There's all kinds of information on how I can help you get to the next level. Yo, Nick Johnson with the dono. Nick Johnson giving me $2. That's 2 out of 3 people. If you want to see me absolutely lose my mind, keep the donation train going. All right, let's get into today's photo reviews. Starting, thank you, Nick. I really appreciate you. Nick, by the way, this is Nick Love right here. Appreciate you. And yeah, flannel. I'm Canadian, my guy. It's kind of part of the vibe. This is and again, flannels are kind of in right now. By the way, you'll notice flannels are very in this winter. So I like to be on, I don't want to say on trend. I like to be a little bit ahead of trend, but you know, I'm telling you, flannels are in. All right, guys, let's get into our first submission. Our first submission is Tia Dunlap. Tia says, hello, Carty. I wanted to submit this picture because it was my first attempt at a water maternity shoot. I set up this shot by putting a kiddie pool in my studio, filling up with water and adding powdered milk to make the water foggy. I bought a bunch of vines and fake flowers and surrounded her in the water with them. I put a pillow underneath everything to lift her head out of the water and placed my lighting up high at an angle next to the pool. Shot with the 5D Mark II 50mm lens, Flashpoint Explore strobe light. This is our first submission from Tia Dunlap. Tia, thanks for submitting, Tia. So, I'm going to say this is a very well executed picture. Let's look at this as a double page spread. You can see this is very, very, very good. There's a couple of things that I noticed when I first saw this picture. The first thing is what you have here, the pillow that she's leaning on. I see that you're kind of trying to smoke it and make it look like smoke, but it is pressing on her face. You can see how it's pressing on her face right in that exact spot. It's something that's definitely noticeable. I'm a bit of a savage. I will notice everything that way. I love what she's wearing, the fact that she's pregnant. The foliage is nice. I mean, I always advise using real foliage over fake foliage, but this looks like real foliage. You did this very well. What I want you to work on is skin retouching, because I can see the retouching that you're doing here. Let me just bring this picture a little bit closer. I can see the skin retouching that you're doing under the eyes, in between the forehead, on this side of her face, over here. So I'm going to just be blatant and say your skin retouching is bad. You need to make your skin retouching at a way higher level. And there's all kinds of areas here where you didn't touch her skin at all. And down here, there's some there's some drips on her breasts and a couple of scars and stuff like that. So retouching, and also I can see that you blurred the back of her hand. You cannot use the blur tool. I'm going to say this to everybody who's watching. The blur tool is over. It's over. Like literally, it's over. People don't use the blur tool and haven't for the last 15 years. It's over. So if you're using the blur tool in your retouching, you're doing the wrong thing. It's important for you to learn how to do non-destructive skin retouching. The skin retouching is actually killing this picture, which overall is a very, very good effort, Tia. I just want you to be very serious when it comes to learning post-production, or hire a retoucher. Do that for me, okay? This is a really, really good effort. I'm giving you an 11 out of 10 on this image. But watch all the things that I've said, especially the skin retouching and this pillow pushing on her face. All right. That is our first submitter. Her name was Tia Dunlop. Well done, Tia. This is, and just check them off for me as we go through. Our next submitter is Robert Myrick. Robert says, hey, Carty, this image was from a recent session with a local model. We focused on shooting lifestyle images with a few different looks, but this particular image was one of my favorites. She's sitting at a makeup table with lighting mounted above it. Hopefully this one shows up as the same exposure and white balance that I see on my PC. Shot with the Sony a7 III, Sony 85mm 1.8, ISO 1000, 1/25th of a second at 1.8. You're shooting wide open, Robert. Stop shooting wide open. I say this every week. Stop shooting wide open. I haven't seen your photo yet. I'm going to already tell you it's going to be out of focus. So please stop shooting wide open. Just because your lens does 1.8 doesn't mean that means shoot at 1.8 and ISO 1000 is high. All right, let's look at Robert Myrick. Robert, well done. So your image is in focus. The color balance is where we have an issue. I'm noticing that this image is a little yellow. You can see looking at my scene here, the color balance is neutral. Therefore, it doesn't look warm or cold. It just looks normal, where your picture looks very warm. If this is white, that's not white. That's quite yellow, which then will affect her skin tone. Idea-wise, though, Robert, this is a good idea. This is a great picture. I do want you to stop shooting at 1.8, though. Please, like, this is very serious, because when I look, at this picture full, yes, you're in focus, but what we start to get is when you're shooting at 1.8, the depth of field is just too shallow. At ISO 1000, like again, you pulled this one off, but I'm sure within this set, there was tons of pictures. With this depth of field that you're trying to achieve, you could easily achieve this depth of field at f2.8 or at f4, and it would still show her out of focus and in focus. So that's something to watch. Let's show this as a cover. This is what it looks like as a cover. Now I'm going to show you this as a 8x10, and you can see as an 8x10 it's a very different frame. You lose quite a bit of, I mean, for me, I would, as an 8x10, I would move this and crop it here so the table is cut. And again, for me, that big softbox in the background, like, it doesn't really need to be there. It's just something that's white and brighter than her skin here. So our eye looks to here before seeing her face here, which you want her face to be the first thing that we see. So Robert, this is a good effort. I'm giving you love. I'm giving you an 11 on this picture, but being generous because there's a couple of things wrong. The first thing is the color balance. The second thing is you shooting at 1.8. Hey, Mr. Elf, Mr. F, Mr. F, Mr. F, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. You're getting a little smoke right here because you became a member. I appreciate that. And I'm going to give you a little light show because, you know, the lights, the vibes. Mr. F, welcome to the Carty crew. Thank you for becoming a member. That's what we do. And again, smart money is on membership because the stuff that I'm going to be doing this year for my members and the secret streams that the members are going to get that are members only content. Yeah. And hit the like button if this is content that you're into. All right. That was Robert Myrick. Robert, well done. Well done. Why is my heart rate so high? Why are we at 100? Watch. Calm down, Carty. All right. Our next shooter is Raphael Ortiz. Raphael says, hey, Carty crew. I wanted to say, first of all, I finally took Steve's advice and picked a niche, which will be headshots. I want to have a secondary niche, which is related to the photo I'm submitting. In December, a talent agency came in to update an actress's headshot. While here, they saw an outfit costume that I compiled, which was hanging nearby. We agreed to have the actress try it on and take some pics. I'd like to thank me, Carty. I'd like to ask Carty what type of niche this is so I can explore it and make it my secondary niche. Shot with a D850, 50mm 1.4, ISO 64, 200th of a second, f3.5. Shot with a 42-inch softbox with a grid at 60 degree down camera right. Strip box behind, both using studio lights. This is Raphael Ortiz. Raphael. So you're asking me what style this is. This for me is just it's editorial. This is an editorial portrait. I mean, it's costumed, but the idea is this is a magazine style image. I mean, if it's the costuming that you're anchoring to, I wouldn't anchor too much onto the costuming. I would anchor more to the portrait style, which is kind of cool. There's some weirdness happening down here. There's some weird post-production happening down here. So I'd like to figure out what you're doing there. Color balance wise, it's also a little blue. What I want you to remember, Raphael, is when it comes to our photography, you can't be all tricks in post-production, like all stuff that you do in post, all stuff that you add and put on top of your photo. I notice, Raphael, that you're very posty. Meaning you use a lot of post. The cinematic lighting, the vibe, the idea is there, but what you're doing in Photoshop, I think, is too much. This picture holds up without all of the stuff that you're putting on top of it in Lightroom. So for me, I would love to see this picture pulled way back without the textures and the layers and all the stuff that you're doing in the film grain and all that stuff that you're adding, which again, photographers do when they don't have talent. They dress up the pig. So when you have talent, when you dress up on top of that, you're taking away from the actual core of photography. I'm going to show you a little secret. Let's go to Behance and see what's happening right now in the world of editorial portraits. So if we go to Behance and I'm going to log in. Okay, so I'm going to log in here on Behance and I'm going to search editorial portraits. And I want you to see, and we're going to check the creative fields and we're going to say photography. I want you to notice, if you just look at the trend at like editorial portraits or sessions, there's no post. Like, this is the trend, like what's happening and what has been happening for the last 10 years. It's really important to know this, Raphael. There isn't, like, this photographer is putting a little bit of film grain on here, but on average, the look is no filter. So I want you to try to go more like raw with your photography. I want you to be thinking about, like, look at this. This is a great shot. And it's primarily, like, if you look at this shot, it's a girl in the studio, right? With a prop. So if you look at this, there's no treatment. You actually see the skin tone. If you look here, her skin looks blue. It's because of the filters and there's textures. And so for me, it's about, like, stripping away the things that you're doing in post, because I'm going to say it's not on trend and you're going to be missing jobs because, again, yes, it's cool, but the idea is cool. And you can see, you can make cool ideas without having to do lots of post. If you look at my portfolio, you'll see there's none of that, Raphael. None. I don't do anything. Like, there's no trickery in post-production to put effects on my photos because it's not in, and it hasn't been for a while. So I'm trying to, like, give you a precursor, and I'm trying to, like, literally, this means going back to all your great work and removing that treatment from all of it and releasing your work without the hook, without that crutch that you're leaning on, because you don't need it. And I'll say again, it's not helping you. It's not trending. It's not something like, just look, it's what's trending is real, more realistic looking photography. This is what's trending. So if you're not looking at Behance to see what skin tone is looking like, see what people are shooting, you're kind of like outside the realm. And if you see this, and if we look at, again, your photo, you can see all the effects that you're putting on. So cool idea, Raphael. I'm giving you love, but you need to know, like, you're doing too much to your post-production, because it starts to look not like a photograph. It starts to look like an illustration. And this is what I want you to pull back from. All right. I hope that helps you. And again, it's like Instagram ruined photography because of these filters. I'm going to say Instagram ruined photography because of like the filters, because then photographers, filters, let's put filters on. And then it's like, now Lightroom, we'll put this LUT and this treatment and this effect. It's just like photographers who have no talent do that. You have talent, Raphael, so don't you do that. Is that clear? Please, the next time you submit, show me something with no treatment. You're asking me what niche this is. This is editorial portraits. This is all. It's an editorial portrait. So again, you're a portrait photographer. This is an editorial idea that would work in a magazine. That is what you're doing. The costuming, there's all kinds of editorial photographers that let their subjects dress up and shoot portraits. It makes it good content for the magazine. That's what it is. This isn't a specific niche where you costume people and shoot them on boxes. Like, I want you to really understand what it is that you're doing. This is just editorial portrait. Search more editorial portraits so you can help you develop your style. All right, my guy, that is Raphael Ortiz. J. Mitch, again, I'm a photographer first. I've been a photographer for 3.5 decades. I don't have time to bullshit. I just tell you how it is. Simple. And you either get it and take my advice or don't. I mean, it's hard. I'm speaking just in general now. In general, photographers have massive egos. And the best photographer is selfless and egoless. Egoless, meaning it's not about me. It's about my client. It's about me making them look the best that they possibly can. It's about me serving the client. And when you attach ego to it, it's always, look what I can do. Look what I can do in post. Look how I'm different. Look at so when you don't have somebody keeping you in check, when you have someone keeping you in check, you just go off into the wind and start doing whatever the fuck you want. But your agent or your client is not going to tell you. Your client's not going to be like, you're getting a little bit too posty. They're just going to say, we don't like this photographer's style. We're going to hire somebody who has a more realistic, genuine look to their photography, because that's what's in all the ads, in all the magazines. That's what's going on right now. You're shooting a style that's 15 years ago, with all, like, literally when Photoshop just broke 2000, 2004, 2005, 2006, this work up here. But every one of those photographers that was doing all the LUTs and all the treatments, if you look at their work today in 2025, all of those treatments are gone, and it's just the work. So, Raphael Ortiz, that's advice for you. Stay on trend, my guy, but you got to know what's happening tomorrow. And if you're still doing stuff from 20 years ago, this shit's going to catch up to you. All right, my guys, this is our next shooter. His name is Mats Carlson. Matt says, "Hey, Carty and crew." And again, Matt's won Self-Portrait of the Year. Like, Matt's did so well in the Photo of the Year Awards. Very congratulations. Very congratulations. Hey, Carty and crew. We went on a tour to visit our families during the holidays, so I bought a trunk full of camera gear. I brought a trunk full of camera gear to practice my portrait skills on people we meet. For this shot, I used a flash with a softbox and grid and a portable backdrop. I consider this a picture for my portfolio. Appreciate your feedback. R6, shot with a 50-1.2 ISO 400, 1/100th of a second at f4. Shot with a Godox 8200 Pro. All right, this is the mighty Mats Carlson. Mats, this is very compelling. Like, I'm speechless. This picture makes me smile. It makes me like step back. It's insanely sharp. It's insanely sharp. I want to make sure that you're not going too far with the over sharpening. Let's have a look at this at 100. I think you might be doing a little bit too much over sharpening. Make sure, for me, I don't sharpen my photos. I just like leave them. But make sure you're not over sharpening. Exposure is pretty much right on the button. Like, honestly, I have no complaints about this. This is on the button for me. Look at this as a cover. Like, you're such a compelling photographer. What I want you to work on, though, which is something that I've noticed from time to time with you, mister, is eye contact. Eye contact. Eye contact is really important with your portraits. And I notice you have a tendency to shoot your subjects looking off into the distance, looking off into the distance, looking off, looking off, looking. So what I want you to work on, this man with these eyes, I want that riveting, dead contact to the lens and expression. Because when you get hired to shoot editorially, when you get hired to shoot editorial portraits, you can't be the one-trick pony who never shoots eye contact. You don't want to be the observer. You want to be the engager, and engagement is eye contact. And honestly, your subject looking at the camera means that they're looking at the person who's looking at the photo. They're looking at the person who's picking up the magazine. And that brings people in. Eye contact. Hey, San, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. So, Mr. Can you close the door, Boo? The smoke machine. Thanks. Mr. Mats Carlson, this is on point. I feel like it's a very, very strong frame. If I was to make this an 8x10, like for Instagram, for me, it would crop a little bit more. Like, I like showing his whole head, but it drops his eye line a little low for me personally. Like, I would kind of cut his head a little bit for the 8x10. Like, I would kind of go there. But this is a strong picture. I really want to see this man's face straight on, because therefore you're now able to really dance with the light that you're bringing in on this side of the face. Exposure here, I said, was perfect. This is probably 0.2 of a stop over. It's acceptable though, and it looks great on my monitor. I'm giving you love. This is an 11 for me. This is an 11 for me, Mats. I want you to just keep in mind all the things that I said as far as eye contact. I want you to remember the photo of the year where, in the conceptual category, the picture that you had of your friend standing looking at camera in black and white, and there was all the people moving in the background, and they're just standing like looking deadpan at camera. That picture is so captivating, and what just killed it was the eye contact. So make sure you stay with the eye contact, people. That was Mats Carlson. Are you ready to create work that clients will pay for, but you don't know where to start? If you're serious about improving your photography and building a business, my photo reviews are exactly what you need. Here's how it works. Tuesdays, Portfolio Review Day. Submit one image from your portfolio and I'll give you detailed, no fluff feedback on whether it's strong enough to attract paying clients. Perfect for building a portfolio that stands out. Thursdays, Assignment Review Day. Every week I reveal a new photography assignment. You'll have 6 days to complete it, submit your work, and you'll get live feedback from me on Thursday's show. Here's a bonus for live viewers. Stick around to the end of Tuesday's Portfolio Review show and I'll spin the Assignment Wheel of Destiny. That reveals Thursday's brief 2 days early. This gives you extra time to plan and create something truly special. Here's what you get. Access to my mentorship community. Your submission fee gives you access to my Carty Method mentorship community. You get to connect with photographers at all levels, exchange ideas, and grow together in a supportive space. You also get submission folder access. After each show, you'll get access to join the assignments that actually interest you, and you can submit your work for live feedback. This isn't just about critiquing your photos. It's about giving you practical advice and insights from my 34 years of professional photography to help you grow and succeed. If you're ready to step up your game and create work that actually matters, this is your chance. Visit thecartymethod.com/YouTube submissions to submit your work and join the live shows. Let's make your pictures matter. All right, people. Let's get into our next photographer. This next shooter, and not without playing a little bit of, oh, there it is. There it is. Our next shooter is Marvin Miller. Marvin says, hello and good day, Carty and community. Happy New Year. Is this portfolio qualified? I have strobe lighting, but at the time it was just continuous lighting accessible. Canon R5, ISO 800 and 80th of a second, f8. Lots of 8s there. ISO 800, 80th of a second, f8. This is the mighty Marvin Miller. Marvin, I like this a lot. I want you to see how this number one crops to, first of all, as a cover. This is everything. Like, great. You're doing something in post that is bothering me. You're increasing your shadow detail too much, and it's making this scene look unrealistic because of how you've increased your shadow detail so much that you've made this lovely girl's hair look like she's an old person. I'm sure she doesn't have gray hair. I know that her hair is black, but because of your shadow detail, you actually made it so this is getting too gray. And the skin tone and the shadows are a little bit unrealistic. So make sure you're not going too crazy with shadow. Let's look at this as an 8x10 now. Now, this is where it gets a little bit strange. When you see this as an 8x10, you can see you want to include the lens. Oops. You want to include the lens of the camera, yes? So we're punching down here and you're seeing it's a much more intimate shot because we are forced to cut the forehead of this girl. So I like it though. I just want to see it reprocessed without so much shadow highlight, like without so much of that. Like I feel like you're going to be served way better if you just go a little bit easier on your shadow detail. Like I know your shadow slider is at like 70. Yes or yes, right? So like don't think visually like we don't see that, my guy. That means that you have to increase your light just a little bit, the quality of light. I see you have also 2 sources from the front. Make sure you're only using a single light source because again, there's only one sun, but this double catch lights, the double catch lights in the eyes here, this here, whatever that is quite distracting. I just want to see this upper light. I just want to see this one. So whatever that is, it's unnecessary and it's not really doing much to the scene. There's only one sun, so we should only be lighting with one light. And then also once you're in this close, this is 100% just to show you the quality of the R5, right? When you're at 100%, now look at the skin tone. And by the way, you see how the eyes are looking milky? It's because of your shadow. Because you pulled the shadow detail up so much, it's actually messing up this part of her eye. So, yeah, we're also seeing skin tone. Like when you see the skin at this level, you can see that you could probably just do a couple of little easy cleanups here. Overall, like a couple of little small things here and here. I use the patch tool for these quick cleanups. Overall, Marvin, this is a yes for me. It's a great composition, nice and tight. You went a little too tight. I only see one ear. I would love to have seen the other ear. Just back up just a bit. Give me the whole head here and the whole camera here. And then if you want to punch it in tighter, then you have the option. The designer, the art director, the photo editor has the option of going in this tight. If this is the only image you give me, I can't make it looser or move her over like I want to. Okay, so again, very good effort. That is, I'm going to give you an 11, Mr. Marvin Miller. Well done, Mister. All right, so who's into the technical stuff? Who's into the technical stuff with my stream? Have you noticed, like sometimes with this camera angle, there were some weird dots down here. You're noticing now they're gone, right? They're gone, but guess where they are? Guess where they are? They're on this camera. You see this? All of this noise that's happening over here, those dots, they're back behind me, back there as well. This is why I'm not really showing this camera, but I figured out what it is. I actually figured out what it is. It is not my camera. It's not the camera, thank God. I did a little troubleshooting this morning. Hey, Janine, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Did a little troubleshooting this morning, and it's a cable. It's a $14 cable that is actually causing that grief. So I bought another cable. It's on its way. I'll get it tomorrow. So that's why you're only seeing one camera and why those dots are not on this camera. It is the cable. Ammon, aren't you happy? I'm so happy. And yes, Anthony G, it's the cable. All right, let's get into our next shooter. Our next shooter is, hey, Steinmetz, look at you. 3 out of 5. Mike just donated. Let's go, Mikey. You're a king. Thank you. I said, I have a goal. If I get 5 people to give me $2 or more, I'm going to lose my marbles. So, yeah, I'm losing my marbles if 2 more people give me $2 or more. All right, that was the mighty Marvin Miller. Let's get into Marco Nueves. Marco says, hey, Carty, this is my first session using my new strobes. Big difference, Marco. And believe me, I truly value every single piece of your feedback. Thank you. But that said, this pinup inspired shoot was missing a makeup artist, hairstylist, and a few extra hands to assist. That sucks. On the bright side, we had tons of good energy, great music, and an incredible sense of accomplishment on my end. The learning curve has been fantastic. And for this, my friend, thank you and the whole crew. Shout out to EOS R 7200. Brandon Fenty, ISO 200, 6/40th of a second at 5.6, 2 Godox, and an Octabox and a strip box. Hey, Brandon Fenty just put down his hard-earned money. Brandon Fenty with the $5 donation. Brandon, you're a king. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate you. Thank you. Smoking my girl out here. My girl's at her desk trying to work, and it's just like... She says, I feel like I'm in a club. All right, so let's go, Marco. Marco has now finally switched from using speed lights to using strobe lights. This is a big difference, and Marco, tell me it's not a huge thing. I want to hear you raving about the difference. This is Marco Nueves, everybody. Marco, this is a vibe. This is a vibe. I mean, the pose, let's have a look at the double page. You frame this really well. I mean, for me, it's about the pose. I know that you're kind of trying to play up the lip bag. You can see that the lip bag drops directly on the gutter, which makes it a little tricky, you know? I like the idea though, Marco, as far as the light, the styling. You shooting this as a horizontal. I want you to also recognize this is a more of a vertical picture. There's nothing on the other side of the page that's really grabbing us. And of course, her hand really falls too close to the gutter. So for me, this is a vertical picture that you've shot horizontally. If you look at this as a vert, let me just do a little bit of enlarging here. If you look at this as a vert, you can see that this makes a little bit more sense. There's no real, it's not necessary for this to be a horizontal picture. For me, the pose, like what she's doing with the lips and the whole, like, it's kitschy. And because it's kitschy, it's just for me like not necessary. Like I wouldn't do this kind of a pose with this kind of a model. For you and all the photographers that are watching, we have to be looking at references. We have to constantly be looking at references. I have no complaints about the styling. I have no complaints about the makeup. I do have complaints about what she's doing. Her hand looks like a claw. This hand is not sexy. The way that her hand is holding the bag like that, and the way the bag is coming up, like it's just not body language wise. It's not right. The way her shoulders are so straight, her shoulders look kind of broad, and then the pose looks kind of cross-dresser-ish. And I'm sure she's a beautiful woman, but she's not cute when she holds her mouth like that. So because of how she's holding her mouth, it's ruining the flick. And for me, this wouldn't be a picture that I would choose as a final. This wouldn't be a picture that made it into being retouched and all that stuff. Just because when you're making that face, look at how it pulls all of these muscles in her face. It's pulling all of these weird and creating all of these weird dimples in her face. So we just don't have somebody do like a fake kiss like that. If you're like, it's just not, it just doesn't work for me. She's beautiful, but you're losing the beauty because you're making her pull her muscles like that. It's just not cute. So I want to see a different edit, Marco, from this. This picture can't go in your portfolio because it's kitschy. And again, like, don't be kitschy. Like, Mike, see you later, my guy, Steinmetz. Don't be kitschy when it comes to your poses, and don't let your models put their mouths in positions that make it's just weird. So this isn't the edit. And Nick Johnson, one of my shooters, is saying that you have better edits from this shoot. I'm not sure why you picked this one. If there is a single thing that bothers you about a photo, it doesn't make it to your book. If there's a single thing that makes a photo bother you, it doesn't go to your book. Simple. One thing. It's like, I love this photo, but I don't like how she's holding her mouth. But I'm going to show it. It's like, no. You don't then also show it anyway. This picture, sadly, you don't show this photo. So, Marco, if there's another edit, show me. Her hand is wrong and her mouth is wrong. You can see by the way that she's holding her body, this hand looks like it belongs to somebody else because it's just coming in a really strange way. So, yeah, this is a no for me as far as your portfolio, but if you do have other shots from that edit, I want to see them. All right, guys, that is Marco Nueves. This is Ian Martin. Ian says something a little different this time. I use a drone occasionally, and this was taken a while back in August when we were staging for a car event. DJI Mini Pro 3 or 4, DJI Mini Pro 4, ISO 100, 3/20th of a second at f1.7. And of course, this is natural light. This is Ian Martin. Ian, Ian, this is everything. This is everything. This is yes, 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 yes. I mean, sadly, just because of the wide angle lens and the angle of the angle of the camera, you have some, like, your lines are like converging. You can see how that's straight, blah blah blah, and then they start going back this way. So your lines are converging. You can see this, these line, like, there's a couple of things in here that make it like difficult. And again, if you straighten this line and make this line balance there, then it throws off the whole photo. It's because of the angle in which you're hitting. The wide angle is causing your buildings to flop outwards. So it's, again, it's a cool shot. It's a cool shot, Ian, and I really like it. When you're shooting with a drone, one of the things that is really difficult is getting your lines straight, because you're usually aiming down. For me, in this particular image, what I would have wanted you to do is sky higher and literally use more of this shape and this shadow on the ground to actually kill it. Like, for me, I know you were getting this icon building. Maybe you're more top down, so you see this still, but maybe not so dominant. For me, this is a good swing. Like, I like it. I'm like hella critical, and I see everything when it comes to these photos. For me, the way that the building is so close to this edge, perhaps if you cropped this edge out here, let me show you another crop. Let's look at this, and perhaps you crop this edge so it's now like this. But then you take out the icon. So how do we do this? Move this up like this a little bit more, and then you crop the shadow. So again, it's tricky from your stance in order to, like, get those lines to go straight. Like, that's really incredibly difficult, Ian. But overall, this is a great shot. It's a great car, and you're a great shooter. I want to keep seeing. I mean, the cars that you shoot and the stuff that I've seen from you has been really great. Even won a great mention in the Photo of the Year awards, my guy. So Ian, I'm loving this. I'm giving you vibes. I just want you to know, again, this one line here is the one thing that I'm seeing. I hope this helps you, Ian. Very well shot. Very well shot. Doesn't look like it's a drone, so good shit. That's Ian Martin, everybody. All right. We are into the accelerator members. These are people who are currently in my accelerator. So you'll see the work. You'll see it in the work, is all I'll say. Okay, this is Anna Kaya. By the way, Anna, congratulations for winning Photographer of the Year. Congratulations for winning Photographer of the Year. What accolades. Anna last year won Photo of the Week 18 times. 18 times, Anna. Like, absolutely incredible. Very, very, very well done. Yes. All right, so Anna says, Happy New Year, everybody. Please meet David. He is a future gold medalist. I shot this portrait against a gray background and then added the ice texture in post. I wish I had taken more shots of this moment and included the full skate boot, but at the time I didn't feel like the shot I wanted. I didn't feel like the shot I wanted to explore. I feel like it didn't feel like the shot I want to explore. Now I'm wondering, could this be a keeper? Nikon D780 50mm ISO 200 f5.6 with a studio strobe. This is Anna Kaya. Anna, there's something here, but not showing the toes of the skate is for sure a miss. Like, that's the first thing that you said. You're like, oh my God, I didn't catch the toe and like the full blade. Seeing the aura is kind of dope. There's also, like, I mean, for me, the expression that he's making, I don't believe it. Like he's not committed. He's kind of in between. And then you're doing something in post that is making this skin look a little yellow. I'm not sure what that is, whether it's a white balance thing, but his skin tone isn't like 100% neutral. The texture that you added, it's okay, but it's a top-down view of an ice surface, and he's like standing. So it kind of like, it doesn't make exact sense. And then also the color balance of the ice is quite blue, and the color balance of his skin is quite yellow. So you see this ice is supposed to be neutral. It's supposed to be gray, but it's blue. So, and then his skin is feeling like a little yellow. So, and then the toes and the rest of the skate. So for me, like, I understand this is a good save. And again, the fact that he's a future Olympian, he needs to have a more, I'll call it like humble expression on his face. He needs to be more understated. He needs to be more confident, but he's not doing it, like he's not 100% committed to the like surprise look, so it just looks like he's yawning. Do you know what I mean? It looks like he's yawning. So because of that, it's like, no. You know, so I had to be so dry. Anna, also, there's no shadow, so based on this light there should be some sort of shadow behind him, but that shadow is clipped out, so it does look a little cut and paste. And again, the double exposure, like, it's not something that you do, so it doesn't, the cut and paste is not something that you need to do. You have great ideas on their own. Like, show me him outside the rink. Show me him at the side, like, show me him, like, what is his life like when he's not skating? You know, like, show me some sort of element of his life. Make it editorial. I think this, it's not editorial enough because he didn't commit enough, which means, like, although it's composed for a cover, like, there's just too many things that make it like they wouldn't use it. So, Anna, this is a good swing and a good idea, but I think it's a miss. Show me more edits and photograph him again and think editorial. Look at Sports Illustrated. Look at when they profile a figure skater, what kind of shots they take of that figure skater. See that type of work, and then editorialize the content that you're shooting of him, so it looks like you could submit it to a magazine, and it looks like it's just stylized reality. You know, this to me is a little bit like too into the kitschy realm, because he wasn't committed, you weren't committed, and you tried to save it afterwards, which I can see right through. I hope that helps you. That is Anna Kaya, everybody. Anna Banana, photographer of the year. Well done, Anna. All right, our next shooter is Natalie Bennett. Natalie says, I was considering this photo for the last portfolio consideration of the year. I had a chance to shoot this back in September when I was trying to complete one of my assignments. Meaning Carty's assignments. A7 IV, 70-200 at 70 millimeter, ISO 125, 400th of a second at 3.2. Good shit, Natalie. Now shooting at the right shutter speed. This is Natalie Bennett. Natalie, good idea, good outfit. Framing wise, you can see that he's offset. He's pushed a little bit this way. You can see here he's pushed. There's like way more of a gap here. There's way more of a gap here. His head is too high in the frame, because you can see now when I use a cover, his head is kind of up in cover zone. And because it's so claustrophobic, it doesn't leave a lot of room for writing without kind of going over top of his muscles or his body. So the whole idea when you're shooting a cover like this is you give it a little bit of space. The biggest issue that I have with this picture, Natalie, is the exposure. The exposure on his face here, this is 2/3 of a stop under. Like, you need to know that this is underexposed. His skin tone, it's under. His shirt, the exposure here is good. The exposure on his shirt is like this down here is perfect, but we're losing exposure down here and we're losing exposure on his face. So a reflector, you can see there's no catch lights or no life in his eyes because his face is in shadow. You can see in here, like, his face isn't lit enough. And if you look at my skin tone here, if I just show you my skin tone, which is like, this is a normal exposure, get my light aimed at me, normal exposure. I need to cut my hair. Normal exposure. Oh, by the way, to prove to you guys that I have hair, it just grows back. Yeah, so normal exposure, me, and then you can see here, this is dark. So you're getting so good, Natalie, and your improvements are noticeable every single week, but you still need to be even more obsessed. Your background choice is great, but I have seen quite a few images of this gentleman. This is older. Shoot him again. And again, when you're in post-production, and again, I'm going to have to start doing some post-production training because I'm seeing that many people need exposure help and they need post-production training. Also, his necklace is twisted. You can see here, his necklace is twisted. This is something that I can see, which means you could have seen, which means you could have fixed. And then again, just straightening out his shirt so it's not all skew, moving it over a little bit so it hides this shadow that's happening from his traps. Just move the shirt over to hide that. And then that's going to make this balance on the same side as this. So, and then of course there's like razor bumps and this kind of stuff that he has down there that you can take away as well. Oops, that is an advanced picture. I'm sorry. But all in all, Miss Natalie Bennett, this is an incredibly great effort. Your photography has come way, 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 way up since you've joined my accelerator. Like, it's night and day how much you've improved. So I'm very happy with you. Very happy. How many people out of the 43 people who are watching me live have hit the like button? Calligraphy says only 22 of you. So Calligraphy is my he's the like police. He wants to make sure that you guys hit the like button. Yeah. All right. This is, thank you, Amond. This is Liza Hyder. So this is Faye in my swimming pool holding a Pride Limited Crystal Head vodka bottle. Crystal Head is a Canadian vodka made in St. John's, Newfoundland, founded by Dan Aykroyd. It's a crystal skull. I've been to Newfoundland and it's a magical place. I bought the vodka merely because I fell in love with this bottle. We have one here. My girl did the same thing. Turns out the vodka's very good too. I keep this skull bottle on my dining room table and sometimes I put a long stem rose in it. Our crystal skull is on our baby. Can you go get the crystal skull from the vodka bottle? Sure. And bring it to me? This image was combined with Carty's motion within a still assignment. Wishing everybody a happy and prosperous 2025. Shot with a D850 with a 50mm lens, ISO 400, 1/200th of a second f8. And retouching done by my retoucher, Soheil Memony. This is the mighty Liza Hyder. Liza, this is beautiful. Thank you, love. This is beautiful. And I gotta say, this is my favorite from this set. Look at this as a cover. This is so killer. This is so killer. Let's see if I can imitate this pose. Wait. How am I doing, Liza? Yeah, mine isn't mine isn't rainbow like yours. But basically my girl's obsessed with Mexican skulls, so she collects them. She's got them all over the place. For me, yeah, I don't know what it is with women fascinated with skulls. All right, Liza, this is a yes for me all day. This is a yes. Like your work, I will say straight up, your work has leveled so well this year. Let's look at this as an 8x10, because as an 8x10, you can see we're going to have to lose her toes, right? You can see as an 8x10, we're going to have to kind of punch up here just a little bit and just let her toes go. But all in all, this is so good. Hey, Ren just gave me, Ren, you just crossed like another off the list. Ren Budden, thank you. You recently found my channel. Love the great info. Thanks for all the amazing knowledge. Ren, you're going to make me cry. Ren, thank you so much for the super chat. Ren, that smoke right there is for you. Also, that light show that's happening in the background, that's also for you because you gave me your hard-earned money. Ren, thank you. Appreciate that. I like to set a little bit of a vibe when anyone puts up their hard-earned money, becomes a member. It just makes the vibes right. Thank you, Ren, for your hard-earned money. I appreciate you. And again, this is one of the first times that I've ever put up like a goal that we're actually about to meet that goal. That's like never happened. So appreciate you guys. I also set the bar very low, which at $2, it makes it pretty easy. All right. So Liza, this makes me very happy. This brings me joy. And I want to just show you, like, have you seen the difference in the retouching since you've hired my retoucher? Like, look at your skin now since you've hired my retoucher. Look at the difference in your skin tone. Like, and also not just her face, but her whole body. Like when you hire a retoucher, they go ham. One thing I did notice is how funny her feet look through the how funny her feet look through the water. I'm not sure if you noticed that, but I like feet, so I always look at girls' feet. Anyways, this is a yes for me. This is absolutely an 11 out of 10. One of your best, Liza. Honestly, my favorite. It's one of my favorite photos of yours. This is crazy. And also, did you see the toes? Did you notice the toes? I see everything in photos. Like the way that I scan them, the way that and you also have to look at your own work. Yo, Zupchuck. I said, if I got five, I said, if I got 5 super chats, I would freak out. Got a little Carty freak out. All you need to do, Liza, can you help William with Suhail's contact information, please? Yo, Zupchuck, you just made me freak out. Thank you, Zupchuck. Very well done. Appreciate you. Thank you, Zupchuck. Appreciate you, my guy. So, Liza, if it wasn't clear, you killed it. Taylor loves it. Zupchuck, thank you. I appreciate you. We're all about the good vibes here. Everybody who donated today, thank you. I appreciate you, honestly. I do this for you. For me, I don't just look at random photos and give them this kind of in-depth critiques, but I've been doing this for photographers for 25 years. I've been helping photographers this way for an incredibly long time, and it helps, and it truly does. And the photographers who take my advice go on to big things. And if you can just put your ego in check and know, like, you're not the best photographer, and just admit. For me, I've been doing it for Literally, I've been shooting photos for 41 years. 41 years. In April is my 35th anniversary for registering my business 35 years ago in April. So then I'll be able to say I'm a 35-year pro. So it's hard to catch up with me because of my experience. I started with film. I started the things that you're thinking about with exposure and focus and all that stuff. I was dealing with that when I was 15 years old, 16, 17. So started testing models, started shooting models when I was 17 years old, 17. So it takes time. It takes time, but understand the whole goal is to get published. I got published for the first time in a magazine when I was 19 years old, seeing my photo. And I swear my first photo was like this big. It was literally like a little ad that somebody used my photo to like advertise the modeling agency. That was my first tear sheet. But 2 years later, I shot my first cover. So our next shooter, you ready? Our next shooter is Daniel Van Cleef. Daniel says, "Hey, Carty and crew. Here's another image from the shoot I recently did. This model was a little older, and she used to work as a model when she was younger, so she had some more attitude and character. It could work for my portfolio. Let me know. Thanks again, and an amazing 2025 for everybody." Shot with the Fuji X Pro 3 ISO 200, 125, f11 with a 35mm lens on a cropped sensor. This is Daniel Van Cleef. Daniel, I love the vibe, Daniel. I like the idea. The exposure is low, but the vibe is there. The exposure is low in her face. This is under by, I'll call this a third. This just needs a little bit more pop. It feels muddy. It's under, I'll call it between 2/10 of a stop and a third of a stop under. Obviously 3/10 of a stop is, yeah, you're allowed. All right. So this is screen brush. Yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed to do that. All right. Later. Sorry, kids. All right. So, Daniel, I'm very, very, very much loving the styling, what she's wearing, the pose. I also want you to remember how important eye contact is. I know that this works as a right page in a magazine because she's kind of looking off. It doesn't quite work as a left page. But let's look at this as a cover. For me, it wouldn't work as a cover because of the no eye contact, but compositionally it's strong. But where I'm concerned is this as an 8x10. I'm concerned that we're going to lose her toe if we go to an 8x10. Let's have a look. So this is an 8x10 crop, and you can see we are just on the limit. Very well done. You managed to crop this pretty perfectly. It's a little claustrophobic, but not so much that I would say it doesn't pass. This definitely passes. It's just the exposure, Daniel. That's the only thing that's missing for me is the spot on exposure. It is off by the slightest amount in the underside, but other than that, this is an 11 for me. And again, don't forget eye contact. Make sure that you're constantly getting eye contact. Eye contact, eye contact. I want you to make sure that you're shooting that constantly. She's got a beautiful face. She's got a beautiful face, so she shouldn't be hiding. And also the outfit's so dope, but because of the like her body language, we're actually losing the outfit because she's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like fashion like just dead standing, so you can see this outfit and see her really strong jawline and her beautiful eyes. Because she's looking down, we don't see her eyes, and her eyes look like they're closed. So eye contact, like eyes up, like chin, you know what I mean? Like square up. This is something that, again, the stylized pose is the thing that people think about always, but I'm trying to relay that the no pose is the pose. The no pose is the new pose. So work on like unposing your people and just having them like just reveal themselves, you know, like that's square up and not the like hiding, but just like be, you know, that's the vibe for me. But either way, I still love it. I still love it, Daniel. Well done. It's Daniel Van Cleef, another accelerator member. All right, we are on to Doyle Daniels. Doyle says, I was talking to Nick and we were both curious about my opinion on adding a photo like this to the personal work page on my website. It's a little grainy and not perfectly sharp. It was shot with a 70-year-old lens on film. Canon P with a Leica 35mm Sumeron with Tri-X 400 125 at 5.6. I miss Tri-X. Tri-X, I shot a lot of important people on Tri-X. This is Doyle Daniels. Doyle, editorially, yes. Quality-wise, no. Editorial, yes. Quality-wise, no. 35mm film just doesn't hold up, bro. 35mm film, I'll say that again. 35mm just doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold up in 2025, man. It's just a mess. So it's not the grain as much as it is the quality and lack of sharpness. It just looks, it's like, it's a novelty for personal work section. Like, again, we're not trying to show things that lower our quality. We're trying to show things that raise our quality. And even if it is film, like I have literally a Hasselblad that's priceless, a 50th anniversary Hasselblad in my safe. And like, I'm not shooting with that often because even still, like with it's so much work with the scans and all that stuff to actually, and again, it's just novelty. I mean, again, I might shoot a little bit with it, but it's 2.25 square. It's like 6x6. So the size of the negative is so much bigger. So the quality would be way better. And I have stuff in my portfolio that I shot with my Hasselblad. So, I mean, it is passable. Like Pharrell and all that stuff, I shot Hasselblad. Not Kanye, but Tom York and all those photos. So the difference though between like what 2.25 film looks like and what 35mm film looks like, it's massive. And you can see I'm showing it right here. This is what the equivalent to a full frame sensor with film and 400 ISO. And also this is likely underexposed because the 400 is underexposed. That means now that it's actually reading like even worse because it's underexposed. And again, you shot this with this isn't film. This is your camera with an old lens, right? Like that's the vibe. It's like an old lens with your camera. For me, it's the exposure. It's the exposure. I mean, Richard is saying that he likes this, which is cool. But Richard, I'm saying this is not getting work. It's not getting work. Shoot this same photo with your you're shooting with this an old lens. Shoot with a real, like with the lens that because it's not reading because it's your main camera. But with this old lens, the reason that it's noisy is because it's underexposed. And I thought that it was film, but the reason that it looks like 35mm film is because it's underexposed. So no, you said it's Tri-X, right? It is film. So you said it's Tri-X. So Canon P. Okay. So it is film. So yeah, dude, it's just like for so many reasons, you got to let it go. I'm just going to say for so many reasons, you got to let it go. The exposure is like this same photo. I want to see this photo on like shoot it digital. And if you want to play around with film, you really got to nail the exposure, bro. Like ISO 400 is actually ISO 250. How do I know this? Well, because I shot film for 20 years. So ISO 100 is actually ISO 64. So if you're exposing ISO 400 as ISO 400, it's already 2/3 of stop underexposed when you're shooting it. But then if you're shooting it at ISO 400 and then you're underexposing it at ISO 400, it's a shit show. So for all of those reasons, like, yeah, it didn't work. I hope that helps. For me, this is the thing that happens is like people get like sentimental. Like they get like, yeah, but. It's like, bro, do whatever you like. You can do whatever you want. Like, I'm just going to give you my opinion on whether it's a waste of your time or not. For me, shooting an old rangefinder that's rendering like this, it's like, no. You know what I mean? It's just not, for me, it's not good enough. And again, it's fun, but with the work that you're then making, you can't use it because it's such a quality difference between your real gear. It's like, why are you shooting it then? If you like, well, I'm just shooting it for me. It's like, okay, well, do you have that amount of time to shoot a whole day of photos that you're not, and then that you have to wait to see, and then you got to scan, and then after all of that work doesn't get work. Like, for me, it's just a waste. Where if you shot this without being on film, if you shot this on your real camera, this could be in your portfolio. I like the character, I like the idea, and I like the scene. So for that reason, I mean, I would have, like, I'm not sure if this is like a house, and it looks like it's this thin. Like, it looks like it ends right here. So if it ends here, why not show me the end on this side so I can see how thin this distance is? Because it cuts here, I can't see what's on this side of it. So yeah, I'm beating a horse here. There is redeeming qualities in this photo, but having an emotional attachment to a camera and having an emotional attachment to a photo is two things that are going to hurt you in the long run. Straight up. It's like, if you're not like, it's like, I have a priceless Hasselblad that I'm like, I don't want it like to disappear, you know, but like, there was a time for that camera. That camera had its time, but unless I get a 100 megapixel digital back for that camera, it's useless. So I have to spend, because film, it's too slow a process for commercial work in 2025. It was too slow a process for commercial work in 2004, 21 years ago. So now it's just, back then I was shooting 6 megapixels and it looked better than film. Now I'm shooting 45 megapixels. So film is just a novelty. And using it in your personal work, it's like, should I put a bunch of work that is like a lower quality, like, on my website? People might see it, and then people might think, well, maybe that's what I'm going to get when they hire like these grainy photos. So I don't know. For me, it's novelty, and novelties wear off. So there's no point in surfing a novelty, and that's just my vibe. Liza has an old Hasselblad as well. She still has it. I have my old Hasselblad. I still have it. When digital backs price comes down, I'll get one. Right now they're $7,000. So I'm gonna hold out. I hope that helps you. All right. That was Doyle Daniels. Doyle. All right, this is Juan Herrera. Juan says, I'm considering adding this photo to my portfolio. It's another frame from the first assignment I submitted in July. Since directing is an area that I'm actively working on improving, I've been focusing on capturing a range of emotions and expressions in headshots to highlight an actor's versatility. Thank you and Happy New Year. Show off the EOS R 24-105 at 70 millimeter, ISO 100, 1/25th of a second, at 5.6, and with a single strobe camera left. This is Juan Herrera. Juan. This is a yes for me. I like this picture. It's very like moody. It's like, I understand when you're shooting females and you light them with cross light, it is going to do some weird things to their skin tone. As you can see here, like we see every single pore on her face, like every single pore on her face. Ladies have a tendency to not love when you show every single pore on their face. And it's because you're lighting her quite dramatically. When you, like, if you imagine, if you put a pencil in the sand and light it from any angle, that pencil is going to render a shadow, right? The only angle that that pencil will not render a shadow is if you light that pencil top down, because then the shadow goes in on itself, which is why when we're shooting subjects, and this is the wall and this is our subject, anything that we light from the side is going to create skin that looks like this. When we light from the front, that actually fills in these holes, which is why you'll see so many fashion photos lit from the front. Now, for me, this is a portrait style. Like, it is a fantastic photo. Like, I don't want you to get me wrong, Juan. This is a fantastic photo, but you're lighting like you would light a man with this woman. I think personally, which then again, she has a very like sharp kind of look and like a masculine kind of androgynous look. So it works for this photo. But her head angle makes like this, where is it? This is what I'm doing. This line here and this jawline here, because she's turning away. Like, why not have her looking directly at camera? Because she's turning away, it emphasizes her nose. We lose that back eye. And then her eye here, we see so much of this eye goo that you see here. We're seeing so much of that and so much of that and not enough of that because her pupils are not centered in her eye because you have her face turning off to the side. So again, these are things that like I notice. Your light is quite high, so it's not brightening her eyes up a bit, which makes it, again, I think that the light is skied too high. It's coming down too much from up here. Obviously it's giving you that Rembrandt light, but it's also not hitting this eye at all. From the same placement, lower actually fills here in way more. So there's a couple of things in this picture. Overall, the vibe is yes, like it's a vibe for sure, one, but again, it's like, it's also very sharp. And the head position, it makes this distance. She has a very short distance between her mouth and her chin, which you make very predominant. And then her jawline, it seems to have like a little oddness in her bone structure there. But because you're cheek forward, we actually notice that shadow right here. You know what I mean? Where if her face was forward, we'd have ear, nose holes, and then the jawline like this. And it would be like a little bit more square, a little bit more balanced. You know what I mean? Rather than it being this side forward. Again, it's just, if she had have looked forward, then you would have seen, if her head was dead straight, that this side light isn't quite as flattering. I don't know. For me, this isn't the most flattering light for her. You made it work, but again, I want you to really be exploring light for females. I would have lit her from the front and high, so we have some shaping in the jawline, and you actually get the contouring from butterfly lighting and that dead straight on look. And then her blue piercing eyes, her eyes would have then become more predominant, because you can see here, like, you don't actually see that her eyes are blue because this eye is missing and this eye isn't lit enough to make that eye pop. So yeah, these are all the things that I see when I look at photographs, guys. So there's a reason that I do this. It's because I'm obsessed about photography. Zupchuk says the attention to detail that Carty's eye sees is crazy, but I get it. there's a reason that my work looks the way that it does. There's a reason that my work looks the way that it does, is because I look at my own work like this. I look at my own work like this, and I scrutinize my own work like this. So, Richard wants to know, would it have been better if you reflected light from the right? You're now just doing, no, I would have liked to see light from the front, which is what I would have said. I would have said it would have been better if you reflected light, like a reflector on camera right. He has a reflector on camera right. There is a reflector there. The reflector is there. It's doing this. You see this light right here? He has a reflector there. So there's already a reflector there. So I'm not going to say putting a reflector camera right would have helped. He had a reflector there. It's on the white side. It's relatively close. That's what's doing this light right here. You can see that reflector in her eyeball right there. That is that light right here. Richard. So if a reflector would have solved the problem, I would have said, you just needed a reflector. But he's using a reflector, and that doesn't solve the problem because of the light placement. I hope that helps. I'm a savant with this stuff, dude. I'm sorry. I just like, you can't argue with me about light. I see it all. Every photo, I know exactly where the lights were, how far they were, how big the modifiers are, where they're placed, like any photo of any generation at any time with any amount of lights. I can see the light. I see it. I'm in the room. I see it. That's how it is. And I'm not trying to break my arm to pat myself in the back. This is just experience. I've just done it for so long that I just see light. That's what I see. All right. This is David Holmes. David says, it is your Christmas, Floyd. Floyd is one of the men I serve at the Shrine Recovery Cafe, where we did Christmas portraits. He's intelligent, articulate, and strong. He's regaining his love for photography and thankful for these images to help create a new image of self. Shot with the Canon 5D Mark III with a 50mm 1.8, ISO 400, 200th of a second at 7.1. Shot with a Godox camera right with a 42-inch umbrella softbox diffuser and grid. This is David Holmes. David, this is a yes for me, David. This is a yes. Your exposure's a little low. The exposure here is under by 0.2 of a stop, which is less than a third, but it's so close. We'll call this a third. We'll call this under 1/3 of a stop. But that's it. Other than that, that's my only issue. This is a banger. Let's look at this as a cover. His pose, even the fact that his collar is kind of off, like the pose, the look on his face, like this is the no pose. The blue on blue and the background that you put him on. I want you to also watch your lines. You can see that your lines are converging here, which means like your frame's not straight. You see this line here, David, and this line here, how they're converging inwards, how they're converging like this. This is stuff that you have to be obsessive about looking at in the background, like what's happening behind your picture. And it's the only thing that I see that makes me a little frustrated is this line and this line. How those lines, like that doesn't even look like it's normally straight in real life. So in real life, these lines look like they're like that. But when you put your frame right next to it, those converging lines confuse the eye. So that's something that I want you to watch is just this, those converging lines. And this exposure. I want you to give me one of these, give me this picture and increase the exposure by 20%. Literally, which is 0.2. Increase the exposure by 0.2 and post this in just chatting. Other than that, for me, this is one of my favorite photos today. David, your level has gone up so much. And we talked about you shooting this portrait project. We talked about how you were going to do it. For me, the only thing that would be better is if this picture was not on a Christmas background, because now you can only use it at Christmas. If it was just on a white, gray, anything than this Christmas wreath and the acorns and blah, 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 like now it's like a photo that's relevant 3 months of the year, where it could be relevant 12 months of the year. And it's like, just because they're Christmas portraits, you don't need to put Christmas elements into the set. So the idea is to just white background. The difference is, like, again, if you can, I would recreate as many of these portraits as you can with just a non-distracting normal background or an editorial space, like an environment that fits the idea. I hope that helps, but this is an excellent portrait. I'm giving you an 11, David. Giving you an 11 on this one, mister. I'm very happy with you here. Very happy. Again, I want you to be very aware, like, when you shoot seasonally, you shoot seasonally only when a client's paying you to shoot Christmas stuff. But if you're shooting something at Christmas, don't attach it to Christmas trees and candy canes and that kind of shit, because come February, nobody wants to see a candy cane, a Santa hat, or anything like that. So that stuff, for literally 9 months out of the 12-month calendar year, you can't show it because people don't want to see what you did clearly not today because it's Christmas. So you're showing work and dating it, which is why you don't do Halloween specifics. Like, when you're doing specific stuff, you do it for client, but you don't share it. You don't show it, like, because it's too specific. You know what I mean? If this exact portrait that you shot at Christmas, you shot them all on black or you shot them all on white, now they're just portraits that you happened to shoot at this event, but you didn't attach it to any kind of season. Now the work works for you and you don't have to shoot it again without that background or try to do some crazy, let me just take this out in post. It's like a mess. So what you need to think is, how can I shoot photos that will have staying power? Staying power, that means not hooking on a trend, not hooking on Photoshop, not leaning on LUTs or Photoshop or presets or any of that bullshit. It's just an idea that is pure, that stands alone. How do you rest on that? That's what makes you money. So it's like knowing when it's like, okay, that's a background and that's tacky. Like knowing which, that's tacky, that's something I can use. Because that's something I can show in my portfolio in June and it's relevant. This, if I shoot this is only relevant today. And as soon as it becomes January 1st, no one can look at this photo anymore. So that, David, is how you need to now go to the next level, is how should you have shot these Christmas portraits? And I will tell you 100% not against this background. Yes or yes. I hope this helps you. Because without that background, this is unbelievable. It's a magazine cover. And then you can submit it to, like, there's a story to it outside of Christmas. Now you can't submit it to anybody. So I hope that helps you. That is David Holmes. David, leveling up big time, big time, big time. Are you a photographer ready to go pro? Or maybe you're a working photographer struggling to sustain your business? My coaching programs are designed to meet you where you are and give you the guidance needed to move your needle forward. Whether you're looking for a focused 1-hour session to fix a specific challenge, or you need the type of ongoing support that 6 1-hour time slots would give you, I'm here to help you master the systems and build a career that you've been aiming for. By the way, if you book me for one of my ongoing coaching sessions, you pay for 5 sessions and you get 6. With over 34 years of professional experience, I guide you through the key aspects of creating a thriving photography business. Whether that's building a standout portfolio, or sharpening your brand, or even setting up systems that bring in clients consistently. First of all, I give you flexible coaching options. Choose a single 1-hour session to get some quick insights, or you can commit to 6 sessions for a full transformation. I can even walk you through my proven systems one-on-one. Whether you're looking to break into the industry or you're struggling to keep your business afloat, these sessions are personalized to focus on what will actually move the needle for you. You're going to get real-time expert guidance, and believe me, there is no one-size-fits-all advice. You're going to get actionable insights and hands-on support to address your unique challenges and unlock your full potential. You don't have to do this alone, eh? Let's work together to take your photography career to the next level. Whether that means finally going pro or creating a thriving, sustainable photography business. business. Visit thecardymethod.com/coaching to book your session today. Let's get to work. Let's get to work, baby. My coaching is starting to fly. People are starting to book me. You know who you are. If you're sitting on the fence about booking me for coaching, book me for a free consult, and then we'll get you in. I love helping. As you can kind of see, I'm obsessed about it. All right, guys, we are into the cartel. The Carty cartel. The Carty cartel are the people who help me run this whole thing. They are the ones who are my mods in here in chat. They mod my community. They make this whole thing work so beautifully. I really couldn't do this without the cartel. And I also, most of them, if not all of them, are in my accelerator. All of them are in my program. So they're all shooters and they're all incredible. Our first from the cartel is Mike Steinmetz. Mike says, I think this could be a nice print. I'd like your input. This is some B-roll from the Bethlehem Steel Factory in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. R8 with a 50 millimeter 1.8, shot at ISO 800, a 30th of a second at f9. This is the mighty Mike Steinmetz. Mikey. You're thinking this could be a print. Mike, I think it's not good enough to be a print. I think that it looks like you've cropped it in a little bit too much, so it's starting to get a little digital. It looks a little noisy. And as far as like, I know your work, I know that there are some images that are personally way better that you could use for a print. The house that's lit, the guy that you're grinding, the spaghetti with the hammer, like all of those images are technically better. They're compositionally better. For me, this picture, the first thing that I see is the cobwebs here, and I think that that's like dust on your sensor or like hair on a negative. Like, it's just not sharp enough. It's not sharp enough, and there's too much digital noise up here. There's too many little, and it's not interesting. It's just not interesting enough, personally, for it to be a print. Like, you're going to blow this up and put it on a wall. You have stuff that's way better. That's way more worthy blowing up and putting on a wall, Mike, than this. So for me, this is a no. Compositionally, looking at it as a double page, it's composed on the thirds. Like, I know you're not trying to make this a magazine double page, but the way that you shoot and how good you are now, this isn't good enough. It's not good enough. And again, it's something that you're attracted to, but we have to be attracted to things that also other people will be attracted to. This, for me, doesn't move the needle. So, Mike, not this one, please. Don't print this because you're not going to sell it. When you have pictures that people are like, please make a print of that. I'll buy it. And like the building that you have all with like RGB, like those kinds of images. Come on, Mike. There's so many better ones. This one is not even, it's not worth being in your portfolio. It's not worth sharing on social. Just, no, it's not it. Sorry to be so dry. But again, when it comes to personal work, we get attached because we like it. It's like what I like it. It's like, yeah, you like it. Cool. Keep it on your phone. But as far as making a print of it, you're like, no one's going to buy it. So, and even if you printed it and put it on your wall, you would look at that print in the frame and be like, why did I frame this? Like once it's done. So I'm just trying to save you all that process, Mike. It's not a thing. I hope this helps. That is Mikey Steinmetz. Mike, that's a miss, my guy. All right. This is Ammond Thompson. Ammond says, woohoo, first assignment of the year. This is part of my high school senior headshot series, shot on location with a portable studio setup, tethered, Fuji X-T5 27mm 1.2, ISO 125, f8 250, two strobes front with a beauty dish hair light with grid. Two strobes. Okay, so front is with a beauty dish, and then there's a hair light with a grid. Okay. I'm like, you're not using two strobes from the front, are you, Ammond? This is Ammond Thompson. Ammond. Look at the styling on this girl. She's, like, for me, the light placement here is wrong. The light placement is creating a very strange nose shadow here. And it's not like because you're lighting side and she has hair this way, like that's kind of blocking part of her face. This light needs to come from the front. This light needs to come from the front and give you this same shape on this side of the face like you have happening here on this side of the face. The same molding that you have happening here, happening on this side of the face. And then this nose shadow there going down here. And a little bit of shadow down here. Like that's what should be happening, but this is not the right light. We're losing too much of this eye. It's making her overhangs here, her brows, too dominant. I mean, this girl's styling, I know you're not responsible for how bad her styling is with the bad lipstick and the pencil eyebrows. I know this isn't your responsibility, but your responsibility is the light. And this light here, with this hard nose shadow, Emin, is kind of a no-go for me. This is the light that you set that you were going to do for the boys, but you did this for her because of her hard look and blah, blah, blah. And you kind of thought it would work. For me, it just looks too, it's not flattering for her, although she's got bad makeup style and all that stuff. Like she's goth, whatever. It's like, which she'll get over 3 weeks from now. Still, it's like you still have to light her like in a beautiful way. And for me, lighting her this way is putting too many weird shadows on her face. It's putting too many dimples and too many like weird things because you're cross lighting her, which I talked about earlier on in the day. This picture is demanding front light. And then the hair light is not like, I would want that a little bit more. I mean, the hair light is okay. It's just that front placement. The black background is okay. You can see the black's not rendering quite black because it's a pop-up background instead of velvet. But also the exposure on this image, because this should be more jet black here, which also feels a little bit gray. So I think overall the picture is a little bit underexposed as well. I don't know, Emin, of the examples from these kids' portraits, I'm not sure if this one is the one that I would show. I don't think that this one is the one that I would show. And again, this girl is really begging to be shot with light from the front. I hope that helps. This is Amond Thompson, everybody. Amond. All right, this is calligraphy. So, Happy New Year, Carty and crew. I present my final and first portfolio consideration of the 2025. Can I get a hey yeah? Looking forward to bringing down the house this year, Chief. Let's spark it off. Big plans for you this year, calligraphy, and big expectations. Z8, 85 millimeter, ISO 100, 200 of a second, 5.6. This is calligraphy. Let's get it on. There's a vibe here. I like the vibe. His shirt's a little twisted. You can see how this is his center, but his shirt is like skewed that way. It's like his shirt is pulled way that way, but he's looking that way. You see, like his shirt needs to be pulled like this way. You can even see with his collar, the collar isn't centered. So his shirt needs to be, you can see how pulled over it feels. It feels like it's way pulled over that way. It's also affecting the buttons here. You see how that's like making it look like his shirt doesn't fit him. Everything that you have else that you have going on is cool. I want you to watch what's going on up here in the background, which looks like it could be a filter that you're doing. That's making the background do weird things. You see this up here, all of this. I'm not sure what that is. Hey, Lamont, welcome to the crew. Thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate you. Lamont, I'm going to give you a little slideshow right there. I'm going to say big love, and I'm going to change my lighting. I'm going to stop the show even to say, Lamont, thank you for becoming a member. Big brain. It's texture you added to the background, says my man. So watch that, because I'm noticing it. And if I'm noticing it as something that stands out, if I'm noticing it as something that stands out, it's too much. So you have to watch the texture. You're also somebody, calligraphy, that's been going a little bit too far with what you're doing in post. I can see that this is very over posted. It's over sharpened. It's like you're taking what you're doing in post too far. And it's kind of been happening over a while, and I'm wanting you to like go right back to neutral. And I feel like I've said this a couple of times today. Post-production is not just a playground where you just mess with the sliders to see how far you can make your photo look from what the original one was. Like, if you look at the trend, I'll say again, the trend is reality, which is not overly filtered, overly textured. Like, it's just like you're going too far with your post-production calligraphy. I'm going to say it. You're going too far. You're doing too much. Just like I said earlier to Rafael Ortiz, you are one step behind Rafael as far as what you're doing to your stuff. And I'm begging you to stop. Pull way, way, way back, please. It's too much. It's too much. If you're adding a texture, think to yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I adding texture to the background? Like, just don't. It's not a thing. Please stop. So calligraphy, for me, this is close, but the shirt styling, it's skew. His hat is also skew. You can see his hat is not straight. His nose is here, but his hat is turned this way. His shirt is turned that way. And then he's in the middle. So for me, it's the styling of it. Like when you're shooting someone, you got to look at them and be like, okay, let me, you know what I mean? And for me, that like, he just put his hat on and you just shot however his hat was. You didn't look at his hat and go like this. Bro, your hat's crooked. Let me just line that up. So the pro is actually, you see how the R is right over the nose? Before it was like this, which for me looks kind of swaggy. But what we want to do is make the blah, blah, blah. And oh, the brim's turning sideways. Like all of that stuff, we have the ability to control. We have the ability to control. And if I see it, you should see it. Simple. It's so simple. If I see it after, you should have saw it while you're shooting it. And if you're not, it means like you're not scanning your photographs enough. So, you said I didn't stylize him. You just let him. So that's the part that you do not now ever let that happen again. When you're shooting, you check everything, because if I'm seeing it after the fact and you're just like, oh, sorry, that's how he came. It's like, all right, so a guy comes and he's all disheveled and his hat's all like blah, 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 and you're just like, okay, come on set, click, click, click. All right, okay, great, bye. It's like, okay, bro. So you're just sloppy? You know what I mean? Is that the vibe? Dude, I'm a psychopath. I see everything. And you also, if you want to make the money, you also can't let anything slide. Nothing gets past these eyes, man. Nothing. So that's the vibe. Be a crazy person like me, calligraphy, please. All right, calligraphy. This is a good effort. It is a very good editorial attempt. But again, I want you to back way up on the post-production. I want to see you doing like nothing to your images. Not like literally almost little contrast, little bit of exposure. That's it. No clarity, no texture, no sharpening, none of that stuff. Literally, like none of it. It's not needed. I hope that helps. All right, guys, let's get into our last couple images. This is actually the last image at all. This is one image, one last image from the mighty Nick Johnson. Nick says, a shot from my current portfolio. This guy's a member of the UO football coaching staff from the shoot I did with Dylan Gabriel and other players. I'm going to be photographing more athletes very soon. I'd like to keep some of the looks consistent with their styles and series. Any tips or tweaks you'd recommend? This particular one, Nick, was shot with the EOS R. Did you have an EOS R? You had an R6 before. You had an R6, yeah? I think the camera body here is wrong. 7200 at 135, ISO 100, 7.1. This is Nick Johnson. Nick. Let's get it on. So for me, it's just the crop under the chin. That's the thing. It's like we can crop foreheads all day, but this beard hair, you can't crop that. You can't crop the beard hair. So if his beard comes down to like, you have to now include that beard hair, because you can see how this cut just doesn't fit. Next, I want you to look at this as a double page. You see this as a double page, you're composing on the thirds. You can see that this picture, and you've heard me talk about this numerous times. You can see that this is, you're composing on the thirds of the frame. Yes or yes, right? Which you can now see how close this eye is to the gutter and how it doesn't now work as far as a double page spread as effectively as if it would if you had backed up a little bit. You can also see how you have the gutter coming through his face. So not sure how that's going to work with his ear on the other. Like, you're too close. You're just too close with this picture. You're too close. Like, back up. And if you want, like, again, it's just back up. Don't cut beards. Don't cut chins. You can cut foreheads all day, but it's too close, Nick. For me, this is claustrophobically close and composed on the thirds. And for that reason, it doesn't work. I know, like, you shot many of these this way, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like a couple of things weren't quite locked in. Your post-production is very clean. It's very clean. Again, I don't want you to just, you're riding that line with your editorial stuff. Just don't let it go too further than this. And again, I just want you to lock in again what this looks like as a double page and how there is no moving left or right with horizontals. You can't fix this. This is how it is. You can't crop this a different way to make it fit in the page. The only way that this is going to work is if it's on half of one page. So they can put it on, like, it can go up here or it can go down here, but it can't go on two pages because of the way you shot it. So for me, Nick, that's the thing that that's like, this is just too close. And I want, like, when you continue to shoot this, don't be so up on them with horizontal frames because it's too claustrophobic. I hope that helps. This is Nick Johnson in your last photo of the day. All right, so I'm going to give some photos of the week, as I like to do. I like to give some photos of the week. I do this off the cuff because it is, you know how it is. I like to do it off the cuff. Hey, Doyle has been so generous lately. This guy. Doyle, thank you, bro. Doyle just gifted 5 memberships. So a bunch of you just got gifted. Josh Minnick, you just got gifted by Doyle. Ed Unchained, you got gifted a membership by Doyle. Canna Startup, you were gifted. Greg Trans Bay Metal Detector since 1983. That's a long name, bro. You just got gifted. And Nums Baba Bun Me, you just got gifted. All you guys got hooked up by Doyle Daniels. Thank you, Doyle. You're a king. Look at that. It doesn't even fit on my screen. Congratulations, guys. Thank you. All right, let's get into our photos of the week. Photos of the week. Let's do it. Photos of the week. Starting. Very excited with this. And again, guys, everything that I said about these photos, I want you to lock it in here, but let's go with our photos of the week. I have to be way more critical here, people. Way more critical with these photos of the week. We are starting like this. Your first photo of the week goes to Mats Carlson. Mats with a photo of the week, starting out strong. Well done, Mats Carlson, with this picture right here. This is approved. It's a photo of the week, Mats, for sure. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mats Carlson. Our next photo of the week winner. Our next photo of the week winner goes to Marvin Miller. Marvin, congratulations, buddy. Photo of the week. Well played. Marvin Miller. Marvin. Congrats, Marvin. All right. Our next photo of the week was super hard on this guy, but this is killer. It was super hard on this guy, but this holds up. This is Ian Martin. Ian, photo of the week. Very well done, by guy. Again, like hard on you, but this is sick. Sick. I just want you to know, like, I see you. I see you, Ian Martin. You're a talented shooter. All right. Next photo of the week goes to Liza Hyder. Liza. That's a photo of the week for me, Liza. That's a yes, 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 yes. Liza, well done. Crazy, crazy, crazy good. Well done, Liza. It's a photo of the week for Liza. And it's another photo of the week for Daniel Van Cleef. Daniel, photo of the week, buddy. I like it. I like it a lot. I had a lot to say, but I still, style-wise, it's very well done. Very well done. Very well done. It's Daniel Van Cleef, guys. Well done, Daniel. Well done. And again, another shooter is so hard on this photo. So hard on this photo. But again, it's like, this is a sick photo. I just want, Brapperdan, I promise you that is just you. Brapperdan is saying, every time I try to watch your videos or your stream, it freezes and buffers. I promise you that is your internet. It is not mine. It is your internet. Anyone else having problem with my stream buffering or freezing, please now give me a string of no's and you'll see that it's just you, bro. Sorry, I'm not sure. Yes. The next, yeah, you see, there you go, my friend. So, Brapperdan, you see, you're going to see, like, no issues here, no issues here, no issues here, no, 100% perfect, nope, 100% perfect, no probs here. So, Matt's, if you're getting a bit of freezing, that is Matt's Carlson, and if Brapperdan, you're getting a bit of freezing, YouTube has like the best streaming protocols. You can select a quality that's lower than 1080 if you have, like, again, it is your internet. I promise you it's your internet. And then Matt's, I promise you it's your internet as well, Matt's. I have 5. So my internet speed, I have like literally something like 800 megabytes up and like 500 megabytes down, or like it's like literally like it. I have 5. It's nuts. If I did a speed test like right now on my Wi-Fi is nuts. And bit rate, I use the maximum bit rate. The maximum bit rate is 1500. 15,000 KB. So I just use their maximum uprate. Like, so I'm just giving the fastest pipe possible. But my speed, like the speed test here, let's just start a test on my Wi-Fi. Like, this is my network. This is download speed. And then upload speed is, so this is me doing a speed test while I'm live streaming in full HD. So you notice that my internet didn't glitch or anything like that while I ran that speed test. It's because I have an insane ceiling. That's why I'm able to stream like this. So, guys, your next photo of the week. Your next photo of the week. I was hard on the shooter tour. Definitely hard on the shooter too. but this photo hit me. This is Juan Herrera. Juan with the photo of the week. Again, Juan, this is dope, but it works for this particular subject. I want you to, and again, I know you know how to like females. This works for me, but there's just this one shadow here that I was watching that's happening down here. Very well done, Juan. This picture definitely hit me. Hit me. Now, this next photo, a photo of the week, again, the level of improvement from this photographer in the last 3 months, it is as if God himself has reached down and touched this photographer and like put him on the right track. I had a lot to say about this photo. I was kind of pissed off about one thing with this photo, but this picture and this photographer, very proud of. This is a photo of the week. This is David Holmes. David, very proud of you, my guy. Very proud of you. Imagine this with a black background or a white background or a gray background, and just like without that wreath, which Christmas is over. I don't want to see Christmas anymore. But yeah, I want you to think about how you can redo this. Reshoot some of these subjects without that stuff in the background. Yeah. And by the way, if you're in California and dealing with these wildfires, holy moly, I'm so sorry, man. Like watching this on the news, hearing about the evacuations, my heart goes out to you if you're in California. Like, holy moly, please stay safe to my California people. My brother is in Kamloops, BC, British Columbia. He deals with wildfires every year. Also West Coast. So yeah. All right, we are doing the photos of the week here, people. Let's see if there's any remaining. Who else? Let's see who else. For me, guys, I'm going to do one best in show. I'm going to do one best in show. This is my favorite photo of the day. It's so hard. I'm going to do two best in shows. I can't just do one. Ladies and gentlemen, your first best in show today goes to Mats Carlson. Mats, congratulations, buddy. Best in show today. Congratulations. Congratulations. That is Mats Carlson, best in show. And I have one more best in show. One more. And again, it's not because I'm an asshole. It's just because the bar is high. And I'm also judging you against you. That's it. Judging you against you. Our last and final best in show. And the best photo of the week for me. Second best, or equally best, goes to Liza Hyder with this picture right here. That's the best in show for me. Liza, pretty much perfect for me. Perfect. Like, truly makes me very, very, very happy, this photo. So, guys, those are your photos of the week. Those are your best in shows. And now it is time for this week's assignment. And by the way, also, we do mentorship hangouts. We do a little Zoom hangout. If you're part of the community, if you are in my community, you get to hang out with me on Zoom every Thursday, like 15 minutes after the show ends. If you're in my community, the mentorship community, if you're not in there, definitely get your ass in there. Just go to the Carty Method and you'll see the community join. Yeah, I do Zooms a couple times a week. I mean, at least once, but I'm going to start to do them more because they're so fun. I just hang out with you on Zoom. You guys talk to me about what is going on in your life and your career and ask me any questions that you might want to have answered maybe offline. So 15 minutes after the end of the show, we are going to be in Zoom. You can get the link inside community. You can join my community at thecartymethod.com/community. And let's talk about your next assignment. I know you need to know what this week's assignment is. This is the assignment that we're going to start the year off with. This is the first assignment of the year. And 2025 is going to be your best year. What I want you to do is start the year off right by showing me a photo of you. I want you to shoot a self-portrait. And I'm not talking a selfie. I mean a constructed, concepted, lit portrait of yourself that you could show on your website, you could show on your social media. I want this to be used in your outward reach campaigns. Think about profile pics. Think about your website. It should tell a story. It should be professional, or it should show some of your quirks, okay? This one image is going to be how the world sees you, okay? So I want you to shoot a self-portrait. It is one self-portrait. I want this self-portrait to be vertical. Okay, I want it to be a vertical picture. I want it to be 4,000 pixels wide by whatever, like the widest side by whatever. So 4,000 pixels wide, it'll be probably by 6,000-ish, and 100 dpi. And I want you to deliver it to me by Wednesday midnight to the community, to the submission folder. And it is a self-portrait. So if you are submitting to my merch, if you're submitting to my photo submissions and you are doing the assignments, which are on Thursdays, today was a portfolio review, but starting next week, you're now eligible for merch. We are going to be doing Carty Bingo. And Carty Bingo starts next week. And how you get a bingo square is by winning Photo of the Week. And then when you win a certain amount of photos of the week, we're going to start rewarding you with merch. So submissions from last week, Thursday, we're going to include those ones because that was the first show of the year. So we're going to include that towards the results. So if you won last week, it counts. We have calligraphy helping us do a little thing we're going to be calling Photo of the Week bingo, a little Photo of the Week winner bingo, which is going to be fun. So how many categories can you win in? Like it's all fun. Guys, that's today's show. I hope today brought you value. I'm going to be hanging out in the Zoom in a little bit. I'm going to have a pee and I'm going to wash my face and do like some stretches, and then I'll be ready to hang out for like another half an hour or so in Zoom with all of you guys. And by the way, the Zoom hangs, I did one on Tuesday, a little surprise. I did one on Tuesday, which was fun. And then of course, when you watch my live shows, you have the opportunity to get gifted memberships from my generous community. You also have the opportunity to just sign up and become a member on your own, but I gift 10 members per month. I give 10 free memberships. It's like a 1 month membership. That is up to you to kind of continue, but I do that. I do that every month. I've already gifted 5 this month, so I kind of like to spread it out. So next week I'll gift 5 more. Guys, I hope today brought you value. Please watch some more of my content. If you're interested in my accelerator, literally these are the last days. If you're interested in my accelerator, you got to get in there. There were so many people on my waiting list, but when push comes to shove, let's see if you're one of those that step up to the microphone. I love you guys.
This commercial-free live stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to fill up these live streams with ads that would just interrupt the flow. The members of this channel make commercial-free content during these live streams possible. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month today to gain access to secret live streams, live chats, and to show your support with that crown badge next to your name. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert, even if the content you're sharing isn't yours. Be a curator and share this content with your network. If you're an emerging or struggling photographer that's trying to break free from your current 9-to-5 grind and transition to the life of a working pro photographer, that's our obsession here at the Carty Method. Register, get the support you need. If you're alone and struggling at this craft, make sure you join the Carty Method community. You'll always find help in the show notes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty method.
Guys, thanks so much for watching today. As mentioned, I will be in Zoom hanging out with y'all in the next 15 minutes. Appreciate you guys for watching. Know this, we are going to be dropping a new collection of merch on Saturday. If you've been thinking about the merch and eyeing it, I hope you have something there that you're going to want. Love you guys.